Hi, Freedom Flower subscribers. It is Sarah LeBou at Main Street Florist in Carlinville, Illinois, back with another tutorial of how to arrange your flowers this month that you received in our frequent flowers subscription. So this month, you're getting a little touch of fall, but also just some fun everyday flowers that we love to work with here in the shop and want to share that with you. So you're going to be getting some gorgeous roses. These are a deep purple. Their name is actually blueberry. Kind of interesting. In the flower world, lots of lavenders are considered pink and lots of purples are considered blue. You learn, you go with it. But anyways, blueberry roses. I love this shade of purple. We don't see this deep shade all that often. You're going to get some tree fern. You're going to get some statice that comes in white this time around. Statice also comes in purples and peaches. And if you're a flower subscriber for a while, you've had it in several shades. And then you're going to get these beautiful yellow disbuds or cremones. We love these too. All right. So this tutorial, I'm going to give you some ideas of how to be a little bit more creative with your vase or container. So if you want to follow along, here's the things that you're going to need. You want some sort of large container. Now, I've got a large glass vase here with a smaller vase down inside of it. Now, here it's got kind of a tapered bottom, and I've got a taller, narrower vase. You could also do it if you had a big cylinder with a smaller cube or smaller container inside. I've also done videos where we had like an old coffee can, or if you've got an old crock or container that maybe has a very large mouth that you want to put a smaller container into that's going to hold your flowers better, that's a perfect solution. So what we're going to do on today's though is we're going to do a little bit of foraging, maybe through the fall decorations we have, maybe through our yard. We've had beautiful weather this fall, and so it's a perfect time to get out in nature and find some things to add to your arrangement. So we're going to start by, I've got my flower food and my water in this vase, and I'm going to set it down into my larger container. Now this is actually kind of a fall / Christmas garland of, these are faux, but very popular right now are the dehydrated oranges or different peels and different fruits. So I'm going to use that garland inside my larger container. Now you could do this if you've got any garlands at home. This is where start foraging outside in your yard. If you've got any leaves or pine cones, I just have chubby pine cones that don't fit really well between. But if you've got a large gap between your larger vase and your smaller vase, pine cones are a great thing. You could also trim these up into narrower pieces and place them in there. So I'm going to do the oranges, my orange slices. If you have fairy lights, that'd be great added touch to do fairy lights down in there. I have got just these are artificial leaves that I've cut off these bushes, but I'm going to steal some of them, maybe tuck them down in there. So these are not touching my water at all. They are just on the outside of the container that holds my water from my flowers. But get creative. There are so many things you could do with this. If you have acorns in your yard, even just twigs, if you had a cylinder like this and you just lined up branches so that it looked almost like a bark on the outside, that would also be really beautiful. Just a simple way to kind of dress up something you probably already have at home, either in your artificial decorations or out in your yard. Now we'll start arranging our flowers into that smaller vessel, but it's going to definitely give us the feel that it's a much larger arrangement than it actually is. So let's start with our tree fern. Now, tree fern can be a little crazy, so it can be kind of get a little messy. I'm going to keep mine kind of tucked down low, so it just sort of collars the top of my container here. And if you've got a 10-stem bunch, you should have 3 stems of tree fern. Let me give those a trim, place them down in my vase. I will give you the pointer that if you are doing something like this, when you have this larger container, it can sometimes be deceiving when you're arranging how you should cut your stems. So err on the side of cutting your stems a little longer. And if you need to go back in and give them more of a trim, You certainly can. Now, if this is too crazy for you, we're going to see. If this looks a little bit too much like crazy hair, I might go in and snip out some pieces and just edit it down. But I'm going to move forward with my arrangement, see how it all comes together. So we've got our basin there with our greenery. I am just going to kind of design this as sort of a low and lush arrangement here. So I think I'm going to go in with my roses next. I have got 5 roses. So the way I'm going to arrange those, we might use this container as an example, is I'm going to put, imagine this being more of a square shape. I'm going to put at my 4 corners, my 4, and then my last one is going to go right in the center. Now I'm going to be mindful of how height that I'm putting those so that I have this nice round shape. But just so you get an idea of my placement, I'm going to take off any of the lower leaves. I'm going to take off any thorns. And then with roses, you typically have guard petals. These are the outside petals that protect that flower. So if they look a little sad, just remove them. Sometimes I really like the different colors that show up on the guard petals, but they can look like they're wilted or they're not good. They are still good. There's still lots of petals in there, but go ahead and remove those guard petals. Okay, I'm going to go in with my first stem that I want my height. I think I want my height about there. I'm measuring against the vase, giving it a trim. And I'm going right in the center. I think that's taller than I want it though. That's okay. We said, right, go with our extra length first. All right, now these I'm going to be going in at those angles, sort of each corner. That tree fern is really keeping everything in place. All right, so now I have got my mums. Do handle with care. Mums are one, if they start to lose these back petals, the whole thing wants to shatter. And last, we've got our statice. Now these, you're going to have some longer laterals. You can trim those apart. And just be careful too that you are getting down into your vase that has the water and not your decorative vase. Okay, now I did go forage a little bit outside the flower shop. We don't have a lot of trees right here, but I do have some vining pieces that right now I'm loving the way they're changing colors. So this could be in your yard, this could be a branch, something to add some height, some drama, just for the fun of it. I'm going to add those in. Again, this is a great time to forage and see what you might have in your own yards. And depending on where you're going to place this in your home, you can play with the height or play with the shape. And I even have some extra little oranges that I might carry up through the arrangement. This makes 0 sense. Orange slices would not be growing on branches, but they are fun. So it doesn't always have to make sense. But so maybe if you have some fall leaves, you take and work those in. You could even take some wire and work in your pine cones. I might just tuck these in here. All right, it's driving me crazy. When I'm arranging from the backside, I always want my height on the left and sorry, my height. You always want to read things right to left. So this feels a little backwards to me to have my height on this side and my lower part on my right side. But as I'm arranging backwards, that's what my eye does is this is my left, this is my right. Depending on the camera view, it might not look that way to you. So we're going to do a quick little switcheroo just for my own brain. All right, and there you go, guys. So be creative this month. Make yourself think outside the box on a different way. You can sort of decorate up and jazz up your vase, add some branches, add some flair, and just enjoy the process of arranging with these flowers each month. Thank you guys for shopping local and being one of our subscribers. I do want to put the idea in your head. If you love your frequent flower subscription, it is an awesome gift. And as we're coming up on gift giving season and you're wanting something to give someone that'll be totally unique and totally special, think about our frequent flower subscription. Because if you've loved it, you know someone else is going to love it too. So pass on the word, share about your frequent flower subscription, and we will see you guys next time.